In life, we are constantly searching for answers. Have you ever wondered, though, if those answers would always be forthcoming? For as much as we seek to find closure, could we ever ponder that the answer may lie beyond the confines of what we can control? And what happens when we cannot find the answers that we truly desire? It is this disparity of dissolution. We could call it irrational. We could call it trivial. We could also call it absurd. And this absurdity follows us not just in our waking hours, but also in our dreams, which is the epiphany of our chaos. Let's leave the world of logic behind and forget what is prim and proper, and go on a journey into the frenzy of life's absurdities, duly in our wake and also in our dreams. And there is much that we can learn from this, as to understand life's absurdities will allow us to let go and see things in a different way, to see the world and ourselves in a vastly different light. I'll also be referencing materials from philosopher Albert Camus, as well as utilise dream psychology inferences from Sigmund Freud. If we think of a notion that is completely pure, it is when we are at a point of experiencing the absurdity of life, which is what Camus calls intellectual malady. And this represents our never-ending search to find meaning as life's most urgent question. As life arrives at such a rapid pace, when we are over-consumed with the act of living before we consider the act of thinking. And it is by thinking that we draw ourselves into a world of deep challenges, where we must face the absurdity of what we have lost, the absurdity of what we cannot believe, and somehow be brave to bear the brunt of our pains and to continue yonder towards the heart of the problem. As it is not always easy to be logical when our emotions and jealousies are whirled among the wrath of our desires, as life's absurdity is lucid, that it could strike ourselves in the face when we least expect it. These are the absurd elements of life that startle us in our wake. But what about in our dreams? It is from the mechanism of our dreams, which psychoanalyst Sigmund Freud argues is born of our deepest desires. As we seem to recall our dreams as how we recollect them just after our wake. Yet there is a latent inner meaning within. And as we often quash our inner desires in our wake, yet in our sleep, when our guards are down, our internal ego still yearns to helm our deepest desires, but can only do so through a layer of distortion. And this explains the weirdness, or perhaps the absurdity of our dreams. And this absurdity of our dreams contains a paradox, a disdain and confusion that we usually cannot make sense of in our wake. Yet in our sleep, this weirdness forms the irony of our intellect, where from such absurdity we are truly able to learn how wise our dreams actually are. So we have spoken about the vivid absurdity of our lives, which follows us in our wake and also on our slumber. It exposes ourselves in its absolute purity, yet leaves us in absolute obscurity. And it begs the urgent question of what life means. Yet it is only by understanding life's absurdities is our key to discovering life's meaning in itself. In itself, weariness has something sickening about it. Here I must conclude that it is good, for everything begins with consciousness, and nothing is worth anything except through it. When we think of life's absurdities, it is in essence inescapable. We often consider the obscurity of our dreams as being the pinnacle of what is absurd. When we are lurking with large lizards and battling bewildering beasts. It is the notion of the absurd that lingers with us every day in our waking and sleeping life. And we come across this when we are at a loss, where for no reason we lose our jobs, we lose those who are close to us, when we lose our minds. By understanding that life is not only born from its bliss, but also of bewilderment, but still allowing us to duly engage in life through a lens that can see through our tears and tirades. It is truly absurd that we go beyond what is hope, but also realising what is real and living life forward. As the mark of our valour is through the eye of an eagle, it is through our acknowledgement of the absurd that builds a monument for our freedom.